Welcome to Talking Crue, an unofficial Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 79 this week, Tommy Lee A&E Biography 2005 TV show review. But first, this week in Motley news, a little bit of it. Happy anniversary to the MC94 album. Was released March the 15th, 1994, 31 years ago. Happy anniversary to that album. I actually listened to that album this week. I talk about that album on episode 16, so go back and check that out. On Tuesday, speaking of John Corabi, he and the Dead Daisies ended their European tour. They are planning to come back to Europe and England in the month of June and August. So check out thedeaddaisies.com. And I also got a question for you. Did you see them on this European tour? Write me a comment down below. Let me know how the show was. John 5 is in the news. He picked his top 5 guitar players for Spin magazine. He picked Chet Atkins, Merle Travis, Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, and I can never say this guy's name. It starts with a Y, and then Malmsteen, who's a guitar virtuoso just like John 5, so I can see why he is number 1. And happy 6th anniversary to the Motley Crue movie The Dirt. 6 years ago. Time is flying, I'm telling you. Do you plan on watching it this weekend? Write me a comment down below. I'm going to try my best. I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, but I'm hoping to settle down and watch The Dirt. I talk about that movie on episode 49, so go out and check that one out. And that's it in Motley news this week. My throat is going in and out because of my sinuses. The weather's changing, either hot or cold, or hot and cold all in one day. That's the East Tennessee weather for you. All right, so let's get into this week's episode, and that is episode 79, Tommy Lee's A&E Biography 2005 TV show review. On this week's episode, I'm just going to continue on what I'm calling the Tommy Lee series. It is all about Tommy Lee. I started it on episode 69, Methods of Mayhem, the debut album. Episode 70 was Methods of Mayhem live in Detroit, Michigan, 2000. Episode 71 was Tommy Lee's Never a Dull Moment album review. Episode 72 was Tommy Lee's Tommyland Part 1, the book review. Episode 73 was Tommy Lee's Tommyland Part 2, the album review. Episode 74 was Tommy Lee Goes to College, the TV show review. Episode 75 was Rockstar Supernova, the TV show and album review. Episode 76 was the second Methods of Mayhem album, a public disservice announcement review. Episode 77 was Tommy Lee's Andorra album review. Episode 78, which was last week, Tommy Lee, The Naked Truth, the VH1 TV show review. And that leads us to this week. So let's go timeline on this TV show. So like last week, we're going back in time, just like Huey Lewis and the News said back in the day. Most of the show is after the release of Tommy Lee's Tommyland, the book, in 2004, which I actually talk about, like I said earlier, in episode 72, and the reuniting of Motley Crue in 2005, the Red, White, and Crue, which I talked about in episode 29. So everything's starting to wrap up here. So let's go info and facts on this show. The show was aired on A&E on August the 23rd, 2005. Executive producer was Bill Eveshwick. That's Evashwick, who I'm sure I just butchered his last name, who is known for doing shows like Biography and Beer Nuts. And the other executive producer was Adam Friedman, who again has been known for doing A&E Biography and Spy's Eyes. I've never seen any of those shows besides Biography. It also has special guests in the show, Anthony Boza, who is the co-writer for Tommy Lee's Tommyland the book, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne, Scott Humphrey, who I've talked a lot about in the Tommy Lee series. He produced Motley Crue's Generation Swine, which I talk about in episode 17, the debut Methods of Mayhem album, Tommy Lee's Never a Dull Moment, Tommy Lee's Tommyland the book, the album, a public service announcement, the second Methods of Mayhem album. Plus, he's produced other stuff as well, which I'm sure I'll probably get to. It also, on the show, has Rob Zombie. The show was an hour long. Now, the show I found on YouTube, which I will post in the comment section down below, and on the Talking Crue Facebook page, is about a little over 37 minutes. So they cut out all the commercials, so you don't have to see any of that. You can just watch the whole entire show. So now let's talk about the show. It starts out with Tommy doing a book signing. He said he wrote the book kind of like a time stamp. Also, before I go any further, I'm not going to tell you every single thing he says in this or the other guests on the show. You have to watch it yourself. I will point out some key moments that you need to keep an eye on. It shows him playing drums with a fan while she plays guitar. They talk about how he's a great cook, a tree fanatic. Even today, right now, Tommy is in love with bonsai trees, which is awesome because I love the Karate Kid. So when I think of bonsai trees, I think of Cobra Kai. So that's awesome. And I always wanted one myself. So seeing him do this is awesome. He talks about his tattoos and how those all came about and why he thinks he might get tattoos, or why he did get tattoos, I should say. So there's another interesting spot. He talks about his parents. He talks about being a dad, which is really cool to hear. He talks about Heather Locklear and Pamela Anderson. Sorry, there's my notes. He talks about the sex tape. He talks about going to jail. He talks about leaving Motley Crue. He even talks about the TV show Tommy Lee Goes to College. And again, it all wraps back up. The reuniting of Motley Crue. They are back. And that's the show. Like I said, it's a little over 37 minutes. Watch it yourself. Tell me what you think. In fact, that's your homework this week. Have you seen this before, and what do you think? Next week, I'm going to continue on, but with the last episode of the Tommy Lee series. And when I did the Vince Neil series, I think I went out with a great bang of a 2024 concert review. Tommy Lee doesn't do solo shows anymore, or Methods of Mayhem shows. So, I hadn't talked about his drumming. So, next week, which is episode 80, I'm going to rank Tommy Lee's drum solos. This is going to be freaking fantastic. I can't wait. If you know anybody that's a Motley Crue fan, likes to talk about Motley Crue, hear about Motley Crue, send them this way. Hit that share button, copy the link, send it to them. Tell them to go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and type in Talking Crue. All the episodes will pop up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button yourself. Give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out the podcast a whole lot. I want to thank all my new subscribers, whether through YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Welcome aboard. Just getting going. And I want to thank everybody who gives me thumbs ups and does their homeworks. I love that. Love it. And that's it for this week. I will see you guys next Friday. And you just took a ride on the wild side.